Hi, I'm Tibby Singh, and this needs no introduction, although I'll give it one. It's Festool's brand new PLANEX LHS 225 long reach sander with LED light. The PLANEX is specifically designed to sand walls and ceilings, and in this video I'm going to run through all the features from start to finish. So here we have a newly plastered wall which should be applied with a mist coat, in other words a diluted coat of emulsion. The reason for this is because standard emulsion is too thick to paint fresh plaster effectively. Therefore, using paint that is watered down will sink into the surface, allowing the paint to bond to it. Now, before painting, preparation is key. No matter how good the plaster work is, it's always good practice to give the walls and ceilings a quick sand. Firstly, to remove any lumps and bumps, if any, and secondly, to get rid of the polished surface that is achieved by the trowel. If it's like a glass surface, the paint will not adhere to the plaster and may start peeling off. The problem when sanding walls and ceilings manually or with a sander can cause a lot of dust. It's important that this is reduced, as plaster dust can be harmful. Also, it takes a lot longer, and sometimes it may be difficult to see any imperfections, as you'd constantly need good lighting. This is where the new PLANEX long reach sander with LED light is a lifesaver and makes the job feel effortless. It not only eliminates the dust using the correct dust extraction system, which I'll go through later on, but it also highlights any imperfections with the help of the LED light, which is integrated around here to get a flawless finish. Firstly, as you can see, the new PLANEX comes in an extra large sustainer free instead of a carry bag. Personally, I prefer sustainer as it's easy to transport and less likely for the machine to get damaged, as it provides great protection. A few features of the XXL Sustainer 3 is that it allows you to connect other sustainers to this. It has an integrated latch to lock the content and is clearly marked what tool is inside, and even an option to insert business cards or labels. At the bottom, it has a recessed grip and pull-out aid, which makes it easy to remove from the van and carry. And finally, the content inside is effectively protected against dust and spray water. So if we open it up, you'll see that the PLANEX is broken down into three separate parts: the sanding head itself, the extension tube, and the handle. Assembly is very quick and easy, and no tools are required. It's literally the case of pushing the pipe end of the sanding head into the opening of the handle as far as it will go, and then just locking it in place by turning the locking lever towards the sanding head. You can check they are firmly connected by pulling them apart. Now, this is set as the short version, which is 1.2 meters in length, making it ideal for when doing small areas or working in tight spaces. However, to sand down ceilings, the extension tube would be required, and you would assemble this in the exact same way as the handle. The length with the extension tube brings it to 1.65 meters. As with all Festool tools, all the functions are highlighted in green, so you're not looking for any specific buttons or functions. And with the corded tools, almost all Festool tools are equipped with the plug-it system, which is located underneath the handle here, out of the way. Just underneath is the extractor connector for the hose, and a 36mm diameter hose is recommended due to the risk of clogging and high suction power. This contraction here is the suction sleeve stop, so once the hose is pushed in, it prevents it from sliding out whilst working. You might notice that the hose and cable are close to the handle, which can get in the way whilst working, but to get around this, Festool have provided a hose and cable attachment which can be connected to either side of the handle, which just pushes into place and then straps around both the cable and hose, like so. And this means that they're both pushed to one side, allowing enough space to operate the PLANEX. Additionally, the cable can be a trip hazard if the lead is separate to the hose. So you can use these Festool plug-it cable and hose Velcro straps to keep both the hose and wire together, which provides a safer working space. The on and off switch is located just above the handle over here, making it quick and easy to switch the machine on and off with your thumb. It does have a smooth start up, which allows you to control the machine better when applying it to the wall or ceiling. Then just on the side, you'll see there's an adjustable wheel, which allows you to control the speed from 1 to 6, depending on what material you're working on. This can also be easily controlled by your thumb whilst working. I'll just mention it does have a brushless EC-Tech motor, which to be honest is becoming a standard feature in many power tools now. There's many benefits of a brushless motor, such as it generates less friction, produces less heat and provides better performance. Now, depending on what surface you're sanding, it's important to use the correct sanding abrasives. Sandpaper is measured by grit size. Coarse grits typically range from 40 to 50 grit, medium sandpaper ranges from 60 to 100 grit, and fine sandpapers range from 120 to 220 grit. In this case, I'll be using 180 grit for the plastered walls. You'll notice that this backing pad has more holes than expected, and the benefits of this is that it reduces the dust and also prevents the sandpaper from clogging up quickly. Therefore, it's important to use the correct abrasives and make sure the holes line up. Just a quick note, you may be wondering what these are on the pad. These are screws which allow you to change the interface pad just in case it gets damaged or from wear and tear. And they are actually slightly sunk in, so it won't interfere when it comes to sanding. It might look a bit fiddly when it comes to putting the sandpaper on this hook and loop system. However, Festool have been clever here and made the abrasives so that you only have to line up 9 holes in total, 1 big one and 8 smaller ones around it. The smaller ones you don't have to worry about. The earlier PLANEX models used rotary motion. However, this new PLANEX is the first one with eccentric motion, and the benefits of this is it avoids creating large scratches on the surface from the random motion. You'll also notice that this new PLANEX doesn't have brush hairs around the edge nor the detachable segment on the sanding head like the older models. The reason for the brushes was to contain the dust, which is not necessary with the new PLANEX as it has more holes on the pad head, therefore collects almost all the dust. Then the reason for the detachable segment on the head was to get close to the edge. However, the reason for not needing the detachable segment on the new PLANEX is because the abrasive is bigger than the pad diameter by 5mm, which takes it to the edge of the outer rim, meaning it gets really close to the edge. Just like the other Festool PLANEXes, it still has a fascinating universal joint design. As I say, if it's not broken, why fix it? It's a brilliant design which allows the head to move in almost any direction, making it very flexible, meaning it works with you and not against you. Before we start sanding, you'll notice here is a turning knob, which is a suction regulator for adjusting the suction power. There's two logos, one on either side, one with the arrow pointing towards the wall and the other with the arrow pointing towards the ceiling. This means when you're sanding the ceiling, there's an increase of suction, which means it feels effortless and there's less strain on your arms and body. I just thought I'd point out that when the suction is reduced for when you're sanding the walls, it doesn't have a negative effect on the dust control. Additionally, the T-handle design also helps apply gentle pressure upwards if needed without your hand getting sore. Now, I shouldn't be doing this and nor do I recommend it, but just to demonstrate the suction power, you'll see that it can hold itself up, and this isn't even set on the maximum suction setting. Now, I've got it extended to 1.65 metres in length, means that this weighs 4.7 kilograms, so that is pretty impressive, right? The suction can be adjusted according to the surface you're sanding. However, it is important not to have the suction power too high. There's numerous reasons for this, such as it can lead to the power tool being overloaded, poor guidance of the tool, and poor quality surface. It literally wants to be kissing the surface and gliding in a sweeping motion evenly. Now, this newly plastered wall is a decent finish, so it doesn't require much sanding or filling and it'll be ready for a mist coat. However, this wall here is an existing wall and it might look fine, but if we shine a light onto it, it looks awful. So if we were to have a downlight onto this wall, it'd show all the imperfections, and that's why it's important to get a flawless finish. That's the whole purpose of the integrated LED light, which comes on as soon as the machine is switched on. You also have the option to switch the LED light on from this button here. This means you can get rid of all the standing lights and don't have the hassle of moving them around. Even in poor lighting conditions, no matter where the machine is, you can see the imperfections and rectify them straight away. Last but not least is a Bluetooth connectivity option, which allows you to connect to the Festool Work app by keeping hold of this button here. Once it's connected, it allows you to control various functions, such as controlling the brightness of the LED light ring. Without a doubt, this is an amazing piece of kit, but if you don't use the correct dust extraction system, it will not be effective. With the PLANEX, it's recommended to use the Festool CTM 36E AC, and I'll explain why. Firstly, I always like to understand the jargon, so to break it down, CT means CLEANTEC, which is the extractor. The letter M means it's a medium class extractor. Now, there's three main dust extraction classes in the UK. L for lower class, which is for low hazard materials such as sawdust. M for medium class, which is for medium hazard materials such as drywall dust. H for higher class, which is for high hazard materials such as carcinogenic dust and dust containing pathogens. Then we have the number 36, meaning it's a 36 litre capacity, and E stands for electronics. And finally, the AC is for auto clean. This means it will clean the main filter automatically to provide continuous high suction power. Now, to look at, it is fairly big, however, it does have swiveling caster wheels at the front and rear, which provide optimum mobility. However, if you don't want it to move around, it does have a locking brake over here, so this provides stability on any surface, which is also good for when transporting it. If we look at the top here, you'll notice that a sustainer or even a PLANEX holder can be connected quickly thanks to the T-lock system. Again, this is great for when transporting other tools, and with this compartment here, it means the wire and hose can be tucked away neatly. There is an option to fit a lead holder at the back of the unit, and you can take this off in one go by swiveling the stopper to one side. This can save you time by having to unwrap it. When using the PLANEX, the correct hose to use is Festool's Auto Clean anti-static hose that's 36mm in diameter, which reduces clogging and helps high suction power. So the hose connects here at the front, and the plug goes in the socket located here. So once it's plugged in, we have the option to have the machine on auto or manual. When it's on auto setting, it means the extractor comes on automatically as soon as you're on the machine you're using. You'd usually have it on the auto setting when it's connected to a machine, which makes it efficient and safer to use. On the other hand, manual setting is ideal for when using the extractor as a vacuum to clean the site. As I mentioned, the extractor will clean the main filter automatically every 10 seconds as demonstrated. However, you do have the option to activate the cleaning function whenever you want by turning the knob fully to one side. In this case, instead of the filter being knocked once, it will be knocked 3 times, which gives it a better clean. The reason it's on both sides is it just saves you time turning the knob from one side to the other. Just to the left here, this knob is to adjust it to the required hose diameter, and that's what the numbers represent. In this case, we're using a 36mm diameter hose. And this one here gives you an option to adjust the suction power. For instance, if it's a smaller tool, you wouldn't require too much suction power. This knob here gives you an option of having the AC on or off. So when it's in off, you might be doing an application where it doesn't require an auto clean. For example, for standard dust, such as using a chop saw, and in that case, you would use a self-clean bag, which is a sealed bag, therefore the auto clean hasn't got any benefits and should be off. However, it is important to have the auto clean on when it's fine dust, such as using the PLANEX. In that case, a plastic bag should be used. So I'll just show you how to insert the plastic bag, which is very quick and easy to do. And in fact, it goes in the same way as any other bag. So it goes at the bottom, inside there. Make sure it goes into the hose and clips at the top, like so. However, you will notice that this bag is not a sealed unit. And the correct way to do this is to overlap it ever so slightly around the container, making sure the breathable holes are inside the container. And then it's very important for this bit over here to be exposed, as that works as an anti-static. Then we can just put the lid back on the container and lock it into place. This means the filter sits over the top, and as the dust comes through, the heavy dust sits at the bottom and the lighter dust goes into the filter, and that's the reason for the auto clean, to clean the filter. So very simple, when using a self-clean bag, auto clean off, and with the plastic bag, auto clean on. Then we have the blast gate. Now this is designed so it uses the full force of the vacuum to clean the filter. To do this, we place it in here, close the gate off, and then I'll pop it into AC for an effective clean, as I'll demonstrate. It also means when we close the valve, the dust doesn't escape when you're transporting the extractor. So I'll just quickly run through that again. When the auto clean is on, it will knock the filter every 10 seconds. When you flick it on to the auto clean, it will give the filter a better clean by knocking it 3 times. Then to further amplify the cleaning, we can use the blast gate. If it gets to a stage where the filter needs to be changed, it's very quick and easy to do. All you need to do is open these locking clips here and remove the top section of the machine, turn it upside down so that the filter is facing upwards. To take it out, you just fold the lever and remove the retainer. Then you can remove the filter and replace it with a new one. Once it's been replaced with a new one, You insert it back into the retainer and fold over the lever till it engages in position, and you're good to go. This is a great idea because traditionally filters used to take up a large amount of space, whereas the Festool Extractor has a flat filter design which enables a container to fill up 95% of its capacity. It does have a flow sensor, so the extractor will make a continuous bleeping noise if the filter is blocked or bag is full. You might have noticed here there's a blank panel. This gives you an option to fit a Bluetooth panel which allows you to operate the extractor remotely. Or another option is to fit a panel which allows you to connect air tools to the extractor, which should be done by a technician. That brings us to the end, and we hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to get in touch and make sure you keep following for more content, so don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.